The year is 1930. Dodge would move up market, offering a straight 8, offered in the DC model. Just for reference, all Chrysler divisions, except for Plymouth, now offered an inline 8. Dodge, DeSoto, Chrysler, and Chrysler Imperial. For those that don't know, Dodge was acquired by Chrysler Corporation in 1928 for $170 million. The Dodge Brothers Company started by brothers John Francis and Horace Elgin Dodge. Originally as a machine shop in the early 1900s, the Dodge Brothers supplied parts for Ford Motor Car Company as well as Oldsmobile and other manufacturers as well. In 1913, the company would be renamed to Dodge Brothers Motor Car Company. The brothers' first model was a four-cylinder car aimed directly at Henry Ford's Model T, even though that the Dodge version was slightly upmarket. Within a few years' time, Dodge would rank second in U.S. automobile sales. Dodge cars would remain second in the U.S. through 1920, but 1920 would be a turning point. For the Dodge Company, both John and Horace would die. That year, John died of pneumonia brought on by Spanish flu, and Horace died from cirrhosis of the liver. The company was ran by the brothers' widows for a time before being sold in 1925 to Dillon Reed and Company for $146 million, which made it the largest cash transaction in history up until that point. Chrysler would come in a couple years later and buy the company for $170 million in stock transfer. The Dodge 8 was your typical 30s run-of-the-mill inline 8 L-head or flathead engine. The valves are in the block beside the cylinders. 2 valves per cylinder, 1 intake, 1 exhaust. The block was made of tried and true cast iron with detachable cylinder head. Crankshaft was drop forged, balanced at rest, and in motion. The crankshaft was supported by 5 main bearings, bronze back variety, I-beam section connecting rods matched to aluminum alloy steel strutted pistons. They were matched in weight. Each piston has 4 piston rings and a full floating piston pin. The engine is lubricated under pressure. Oil would pass through rifle drilled passages to all main bearings, camshaft bearings, connecting rod bearings. Positive spray under pressure to pistons, cylinder walls, valve stems, cam, and tappets. Introduced in 1930, 220.7 cubic inch displacement, L-head, inline 8, 3.61 liters. It was good for 75 horsepower, 3,400 RPM, 145 pound-feet, or 196 newton meters, around 1,400 RPM. With a bore of 2 7/8 inches and a stroke of 4.5 inches, compression was 5.4 to 1. 5 main bearings. Years this engine was used was 1930 through 1932. It could be found in the models DC. In 1931, an all-new inline 8 would emerge after a bore increase and a stroke decrease. Overall displacement was 240 cubic inch displacement. Inline 8, 3.94 liters. It was good for 84 horsepower, 3,400 RPM, 158 pound-feet, or 214 newton meters, around 1,400 RPM, with a bore of 3 inches and a stroke of 4.25 inches. Compression was 5.2 to 1. Years this engine was used, 1931 through, I couldn't find an ending for this engine. It might just be 1931. It was found in the DG models. In 1932, bore would increase for the last time, bringing overall displacement to 282.1 cubic inch displacement, L-head, inline 8, 4.62 liters. It was good for anywhere between 90 to 100 horsepower. At 3,400 RPM, 195 pound-feet, or 264 newton meters, around 1,400 RPM, with a bore of 3.25 inches and a stroke of 4.25 inches. Compression was 5.2 to 1 as standard, and that's where you got the 90 horsepower figure, or you could get a high compression head for 6.2 to 1 compression. That's where the 100 horsepower figure came from. Years this engine was used, 1932 through 1933. It could be found in the Model DK for 32 or the Model DO for 33. Dodge would begin to phase out their straight 8 in 1933, deciding to streamline their engine offerings, going for 6s instead. The Depression was really taking a toll on the automobile industry as a whole, and to cut back on costs, 6 cylinders used less parts. Plus, 6 cylinders were getting close to that 90 horsepower figure from the 8, which was pretty much on par with what the 8 was doing. Plus, it made that 90 horsepower. Well, it was actually like 87 horsepower, but it was close to 90 horsepower with 2 less cylinders. It wouldn't be until the 50s until Dodge would get another 8 in the V formation. But as they say, that is another engine episode for another day. Now it's time for Would You Rather. These may or may not be in the same price point, but who cares? Which one would you rather have? 1932 Nash Standard 8 or 1932 Dodge DK or 1932 Studebaker Commander 8. I'm going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free, pause the video. On to the final scenario, 1932 Hudson Grader 8 or 1932 Dodge DK or 1932 Ford V8. Once again, I'm going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free, pause the video. Now it's time for Name That Tune. First person to get both the name of the band and the song title correctly in the comment section will have their comment pinned to the top of it. Couple of announcements real quick before signing off. This weekend is the Auburn Cord Duesenberg show out in Auburn, Indiana. If you love classic cars, like legit classic cars like Auburn Cords and Duesenbergs, go. This is an epic show, and it's really cool. They're all set up in Eckhart Park behind the Duesenberg Museum, and then they drive in a parade down towards the courthouse. This same courthouse, well, probably not the same exact courthouse, but maybe the location is the same, where E.L. Cord used to put the cars around for people to see. It's really cool. It's like going back in time. There's that, which I will be at. And then next weekend is my favorite car show this side of the Mississippi, the Old Car Festival up in the Greenfield Village, right next to the Henry Ford. I'll be at both of those events, so if you see me, be sure to say hey. Thanks again for everything that you guys bring in the comment section. I love reading the stories, the comments, and everything that you guys share. Until next time, toodaloo!
Yeah, that's a Canadian view. Oh wow. This place is incredible.